I'd like you all to put your hands together once again as we welcome Lisa Reifer, AVP and Chief Commercial and Strategy Officer for the new Terminal One JFK. Welcome from New York.
From New York, is this on? Okay, great.
There we go.
Thanks so much.
You're very welcome. How was your flight over here to Lisbon?
It was good. I actually have a story, not about my flight from New York to Lisbon, but from another airport where I arrived and my phone was about to die. Okay. And there were no plugs, sort of pre-security, and this particular airline, a European airline, did not have any kiosks. And here I was thinking, wow, I'm kind of in a bind. And so I think it really underscored sort of the role that technology plays today, right? Completely. As we think about the airport experience.
The transformation.
The transformation. So other than that, I did make the flight. I did find a way to get through security with a dying phone and no kiosk and no boarding pass. But great to be here.
Great to see you. Right, let's delve straight into the work that you're doing at One JFK. Now, this is often described as a transformation project. It's not just renovation, but how does this initiative reflect the evolving values of today's and tomorrow's travelers? You mentioned their technology, which is very,
yes.
The personal experience from you. How is this all revolutionizing now?
Well, I think, we're in a very unique situation in the United States right now. If you think about public airports for the most part in the United States being publicly owned. And I think as we think about sort of traditional funding mechanisms are quite limited in the US, and I think that's led to chronic underinvestment in airport infrastructure in the US. And so what we're doing at the new Terminal One is a public-private partnership, taking private capital, which has not really taken off in the US, and able to deliver with that private capital world-class terminal faster and with more innovation. And I think what's really interesting in my role as Chief Commercial Officer, I spend a lot of time with our airline partners because, at the end of the day, our success hinges on the success of our airlines and our ability to deliver the kind of experience that international travelers expect from a leading global gateway like JFK. And I think for anybody who's traveled at JFK, I think we can be honest that the experience there is not where it needs to be as you sort of look at airports across the US. And I think that, again, to that point about investment in infrastructure, you've got aging infrastructure at JFK. You've got one terminal that was built or started over 50 years ago, right? So as you think about the demands of the modern traveler, it's hard to keep up with that kind of aging infrastructure. And so that's what's led the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey to embark on this $19 billion transformation at JFK, which at the center of that project, which is the largest airport redevelopment underway right now in the United States, is our new Terminal One project, which in its first phase alone is $9 billion, making it the largest public-private partnership in the United States. And I think that's really, the key in the US really to unlocking sort of investment and being able to support what customers and especially international customers expect is bringing that private capital into the mix and delivering an experience that international customers demand for these global gateways in the US.
Well, efficient passenger flow is critical to that and, the success of these airports. What innovations at One JFK are helping reduce bottlenecks while still maintaining a high-touch experience that the savvy passengers of today have become accustomed to?
I agree. When we think about, it's a balance, right? When we think about what is sort of the smart traveler demands, and we think it's about combining that cutting-edge technology with, to your point, a strong focus on the guest experience. And so at the new Terminal One, we will have end-to-end biometrics on the passenger journey to ensure sort of a seamless customer experience from curb to gate. We'll have dynamic digital signage that simplifies wayfinding. But as you point out, technology or travel and savvy isn't just about technology, right? And so I think that focus on service, I think we're equally committed to ensuring that those who need that hands-on support have it, because I think it is important. It's something we talked about previously. I think smart travelers and savvy, I think it just means different things to different people.
I was about to say, it's not, you can't really design everything for everyone.
Right.
So there's got to be, how do you get that balance correct?
Yeah, I think, can you be all things to all people? I mean, we recognize that there's many different types of passengers, and they all have very unique needs. And I think our goal is to provide an environment that supports everyone, whether you're a family that's traveling with children, or somebody that is observing religious has some religious observations, or somebody else who may need special assistance, right? And so we're really focused on PRA, passenger requiring assistance, and providing those touch points throughout the customer journey in the airport, just because travel is very stressful, right? And so one of our jobs is to help reduce that stress in that experience, in that journey.
We're talking a lot, obviously, about passenger experience, which is sort of one of the end goals for the industry. But how do you approach the challenge of making that efficiency and the improvements both to the passengers, but also the operational teams who are working tirelessly behind the scenes?
I agree. When we talk about technology, we often talk about it through the perspective of the passenger, but it's equally important with respect to the operation. So one of my, I want to say, favorite features is sort of the docking system for aircraft coming in if there's no ground crew, or it's not safe for whatever reason due to lightning, right? To have this kind of safe dock is what's called, to bring the aircraft in safely, and that also helps with efficiency.
Our panel after this session is going to be looking at a lot more in depth in terms of sustainability, ESG goals. Sustainability is no longer optional. How is One JFK embedding green infrastructure and practices into everyday operations?
That's a great question. I mean, sustainability has been a key focus for the new Terminal One since day one, and I think building a terminal from the ground up, I think provides or creates a unique opportunity, but also a real responsibility with respect to environmental stewardship. And so I think the most notable feature of the new Terminal One is this microgrid that we have on the roof of the terminal, featuring 13,000 panels, a solar array, and it's going to have the ability to power up to half of the operations. In terms of the operations of the terminal, have the power to do that, and obviously creates resiliency in the event of sort of regional grid outages. So I think that solar array, and I think we're also really proud that we're the first airport to invest in all electric ground service equipment, centralized. So I think obviously helps reduce carbon emissions, and also just again back to the people working at the airport, just providing a cleaner environment for those out on the ramp as well.
How important is it, do you think, for the industry to learn from each other? I know not one airport is the same as the other, and what can people learn from your transformation at JFK? What do you think has been most relevant for other global hub airports to take away from what you've learned?
I think my biggest takeaway is that partnership is key, right? I think as you think about any complex project, there's always a diverse group of stakeholders, and I think collaboration. I mean, we're fortunate with the partners we have at the Port Authority. We've got private partners, the airlines, our construction design partners. I mean, everybody brings unique perspectives and has different priorities, and I think the ability to sort of leverage all of the experience and perspectives is a skill, and something that is, if done well, I think can lead to lots of success.
Very finally, what is your vision? So when you get home at night, you get into bed and you think, gosh, I hope people, when they come to see the new Terminal One JFK, what is their experience going to be?
I think for me, the JFK project, the new Terminal One, is really about setting a new standard for what U.S. airports can be. I mean, I think, frankly, we are well behind sort of globally if you look at sort of the infrastructure in the U.S. And so my hope is that international travelers, come to the new Terminal One, which is a international-only terminal, which makes it unique. It's the only terminal in the United States serving just international traffic, and I think that they'll say that this is on par, sort of top 5 of the airports around the world.
We look forward to it. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Lisa Reifer, EVP and Chief Commercial and Strategy Officer, the new Terminal One at JFK.